Coming up on this episode of The Social Hour, is Instagram video taking the wind out of Vine sales? Plus, stalking people on LinkedIn. And Boing Boing is using a new comment system. Is it the way of the future? All that and more next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Audio bandwidth provided by the new Winamp for Android, featuring wireless sync and one-click iTunes import. Now with free daily music downloads and full-length CD listening parties. Download it for free at winamp.com/Android. Bandwidth for the Social Hour is brought to you by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is The Social Hour with Sarah Lane and Amber MacArthur. Episode 117, recorded Friday, June 28th, 2013. This episode of The Social Hour is brought to you by Social Media Solutions from SAP. If you're a social media manager at a large enterprise, gain insight and engage in social media with Social Media Solutions from SAP to improve your customer service and support experience. Take a guided tour at sap.com/twit. And by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create a professional website, blog, portfolio, or online store. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use offer code SOCIALHOUR6. And by Audible.com. To download a free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/socialhour. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of The Social Hour, and happy Friday to all of you who are watching us live from Twit World headquarters in Petaluma, California, where it is quite warm. It's almost 100 degrees outside. I'm Sarah Lane.
And I'm Amber MacArthur, and I am in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And it is warm, but it is rainy, and I'm here for the weekend, just leading up to Canada Day on July 1st, and having a great time. I went to high school in Ottawa, and I'm here with a bunch of girlfriends from high school for a wedding, and so far it has been a lot of fun.
Well, Amber, you are a jet setter of epic proportions, so thanks for being able to Skype in from beautiful, rainy, but festive Ottawa.
No problem. I wouldn't want to miss the show, and there's lots to talk about. And I'm particularly interested, Sarah, in finding out your opinion on this first item, because we talked about this a little bit last week as far as the Vine Instagram video competition. And looks like, based on this article, that Vine is feeling a little bit of the impact from Instagram video.
Yeah, if you look at this this little graph here, and this is, again, Instagram video is very new, so you have to figure, part of this is just the novelty of people saying, ooh, Instagram videos. I might not be taking them in a couple months, but I'm certainly going to take quite a few now. Since Instagram video launched, Vine use dropped way off. Now, I guess, Amber, that probably has to do with the fact that, well, if you're going to be playing around with video in general, you're going to choose one or the other. I'm certainly not doing a lot of Vining and a lot of Instagram videoing. In fact, I've only uploaded one Instagram video because I don't love them all that much. But I wonder if, obviously this would be Facebook's hope, right? Is take the wind out of Twitter's sails. Twitter obviously owns Vine, Facebook owns Instagram, and keep usage up. But do you see this graph trending in this same direction, Amber, or do you see it leveling out?
I think it's only natural that Instagram video obviously had this surge in traffic just based on the fact that it's new. We know all of the technology early adopters out there love new things, and so there's going to be a lot of people trying it out and, maybe surpassing it for instead of using Vine for a while. So I don't think it's really necessarily sustainable at this rate. I think we'll see Instagram video continue to grow, but I think there's still a lot of people who absolutely love Vine. And Sarah, I feel like you owe us an Instagram video from last week. Did you do another one?
What do you mean?
Last week you promised you would do an Instagram video for us.
Well, I did. I posted an Instagram video over the weekend.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I haven't seen it yes. Yet. A friend of mine had a barbecue, and I was there before the barbecue started, and I did a little sort of like, hey, I'm in the country, everybody type thing.
Ah,
yes.
Perfect.
It was my first and only Instagram video thus far. I just wanted to say that I had done it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it worked out okay. I'm not an Instagram video hater, Amber, but I've absolutely turned off autoplay in my Instagram stream. for videos, and I find that I never click on other people's videos because I feel like, I don't know. It's like that cover photo tells me what I need to know. Oh, this is going to be a video of you jumping off a cliff. No,
you don't need
not
anymore.
to your death or anything, like into a nice pool below. Or this is a video of your kid on the swing. You know, or so, yeah, you kind of. It's like I see. I got it. I don't know. Maybe
You're
I'll
like
change
a
my
video
mind.
psychic.
Yeah,
I get it.
Well, we're still trying to figure out if this whole concept is going to stick for either company, really. So it'll be interesting to see. Vine is kind of taken its place as a place for creatives. You know, you kind of put together this sort of stop motion thing. And then Instagram video is a lot more of a short snippet of video from a place and time. So.
You know, one thing, I was playing a little bit with Instagram video recently, and I thought you could do more editing within the videos. I didn't realize you could just erase the most recent little block that you recorded, right? You kind of hold down and you can erase it. I wish you could drag and drop and edit a little more. I mean, I'm sure they'll have this eventually, but I think that would be an interesting feature to have within the app. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. In fact, it took me a while to realize that you could even go back in time if for whatever reason that last part of the video wasn't so great. I think maybe that's the problem, is that of all the Instagram videos that I've seen, I do click on some of them, just not that many. But sometimes I watch them and it's just like, it's kind of a mess. You know, it looks like, and maybe because we've been working in video too long that we're hypercritical. But sometimes I look at this stuff, I'm like, that's a first pass. I mean, that's really not postable. So if the audio is all weird, it's just a mess, you know?
If we really want to entice you with our Instagram videos, then we should just do like a screenshot with a piece of paper that's like a tease so you can't guess what it is, right?
Exactly.
Is that the way?
Yeah,
that would be good.
That would be good.
Try
That would be good. You know what would also be good is being able to tell, particularly if you're looking for a job or you're trying to make connections, who is viewing your LinkedIn profile. Although, if I view Amber's LinkedIn profile, I don't necessarily want her to know that because maybe I was just getting a little intel on where she's worked in the past, and I don't want her to read too much into it or to know that maybe it's not job related at all. I'm just kind of looking at her profile. LinkedIn is going to, as of now, tell you who's viewed your updates and give you more of a past history of your own. So let's say that you're deep into figuring out, you know, who the right person is to talk to in a department at Google. So you're looking through a bunch of profiles and you're looking at people's job descriptions, and I do this every once in a while when I'm trying to pinpoint who might be the right person to address an email to. And then some time goes by and I kind of come back to LinkedIn and it's like, I sort of have to do it all over again. So having personal history of where I've been does kind of make sense to me. But Amber, are you weirded out by the idea if you visit someone's profile that they'll know?
Well, you know, it's really interesting because I think that we're hypersensitive to our privacy on social networking sites because we understand the internet space really well. And I just, out of curiosity, asked a couple of my girlfriends before the show what they thought of this. And I realized pretty quickly that they thought, oh, that's not a big deal. Who really cares? You know, because they see LinkedIn as a place where you do professional networking. And if someone who might want to recruit you is out there looking at something you've posted or viewing your profile, it didn't seem to bother them that much. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing that they aren't thinking about their privacy as much as maybe we do on the show. But I thought it was interesting just to see someone who is kind of a casual internet user not be as concerned about it. I still find it a little creepy, Sarah. I mean, I like it from a user standpoint, but like you said, assuming that you're the one who's doing the viewing, but when someone else knows, it's a little bit odd.
It's a little bit odd. It's also somewhat limited. I mean, it's worth noting that who's viewed your updates is basically a sort of a snippet of who's viewed your updates over the course of this feature being on. So I can't just say who's viewed my update since the beginning of LinkedIn. That information isn't there. It's sort of like, hey, these are some people who have viewed your updates recently. Then there's a LinkedIn premium account where you can get more information about that as well. So it's a little creepy, but at the same time, I know maybe LinkedIn feels like if you've got a little bit of this functionality, you might be more likely to upgrade to a premium account just to get all of it. And certainly in people who are in more of like a recruiting role or HR role, this probably just makes a lot more sense to be able to track engagement, not just necessarily, oh, this specific person has been to my profile, but more, you know, what's getting traction. So
I think it's neat when you look at the analytics side of things. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll go into LinkedIn and I'll look at who's viewing my profile, what type of business they're in as far as the different industries, and just try to understand just the bigger picture. I always find when I dig down and get really granular with conversations I have with people on LinkedIn, there isn't as much value for me. But when I look at stuff from the standpoint of understanding how people search to find me, how they, what type of industries they're from, I think it is kind of useful. But I still feel like I just, LinkedIn for me is one of those things that I keep trying to use it and get it to be really valuable. And it just, I don't know if I'm doing anything right because I haven't had that traction I've had with other social networks.
I agree with you. And LinkedIn certainly wants to be a place that we're visiting more regularly. And I have a LinkedIn account. I think it's valuable. That's where my sort of resume is, if you want to look at my traditional resume. But other than that, I'm not really going to LinkedIn for some of the reasons that they'd like me to. Original content from LinkedIn influencers, that sort of thing. By the way, Schnago says in our chat room, I thought we already had this feature in the paid account. That's, I believe, to have people looking at your account. This is now a free feature. So a feature that we can all have. Again, limited list, but it is functionality that they're adding in.
Yeah, definitely.
For the non-paying LinkedIn users.
And Sarah, this is kind of an interesting story from Facebook, a little bit of buzz going around there about Facebook's new chat rooms feature. And based on this TechCrunch article that I've been reading through, it seems like this would almost be their answer perhaps to Google Hangouts, which they work really well. They've been getting a lot of attention too.
Yeah, so the idea behind Facebook chat rooms is exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it's TechCrunch basically had some sources from within Facebook familiar with the matter who said, yeah, Facebook's working on chat rooms that are reminiscent of the old chat rooms of yore, or the chat room that Twit runs in modern day. But Facebook says, yes, we are testing it. So they're not denying anything, but they say, we test a lot of things. It's with a small subset of people. It's not necessarily going to be rolled out globally, and not necessarily going to be rolled out, period, because we're a big company and we're trying a lot of different stuff. But they are looking into whether or not this is a good idea. I think once you get over the whole like chat rooms, a lot of people feel like they've moved beyond chat rooms. I mean, why isn't Twitter good enough? Or even within Facebook itself, why isn't a Facebook group good enough? But the nice thing about the room, and I think, Amber, what you touch on it being closer to Google Hangouts, is there is a little bit of that, hey, room's open, who wants to come in and contribute to maybe this conversation that I've started? I'd like to talk about gardening. So come one, come all. Maybe I just invite my friends. Maybe it's sort of a privacy setting thing that we'd all be familiar with on Facebook anyway, where if it's a friend of a friend, that's cool too, as long as I know somebody who knows you. Or maybe it's just a big public free-for-all. I cannot imagine that ever going well on Facebook. But I can see where this could have some value, especially for Facebook wanting people to hang out on Facebook. If you're sort of in and out of a chat room while you're working or you know, on an application on your computer throughout the day, well, maybe, yeah, you never close that Facebook window, and that makes Facebook's engagement look a lot better.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but I have to wonder, I mean, if we look at how quickly Google has innovated with Google Plus Hangouts and with their Hangouts app and being able to do everything from text to have video conversations, obviously Hangouts with multiple people work really well. It feels like what they're talking about here with Facebook, although I think people will use it, doesn't it feel a little bit like they're kind of behind? They're lagging a little bit to you, Sarah, in the sense that it's needed, it's expected, but I don't know if it, you know, it seems like Google has such a huge head start on them with something like this, although not the mass of people.
Yeah, Facebook certainly has the people, but yeah, I think Facebook always seems behind these days. Well, you have your sort of Facebook home mobile phone type thing, which didn't go very well, but it certainly was innovative. But yes, Facebook is known to clone behavior services features that work well in other places, just so Facebook can say, well, you can do that here. You can do anything you want here.
It almost feels to me like Google is they're a real technology company, right? And Facebook is more of a marketing company that has tech skills. And I know Zuckerberg would probably be, his head would explode listening to something like that. But when I look at the features and functionality, it's sort of like, oh, well, that's like an incremental change, nothing really that's slick. Whereas I think with Google, I mean, so many of their programs and products that they have are just done so well from a technical standpoint. But Facebook obviously has such a massive user base. I guess they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think at this point, even if it was bare bones, and it sounds like, at least right now, the Facebook chat feature would just be text. Maybe they'd introduce stickers and emojis and the ability to attach photos down the line. This also could be, Amber, something along the lines of Facebook comment systems that you see all over the web, not necessarily on Facebook, that can help you tie back into people to connect with on Facebook. If I don't know, some sort of a tech blog. I mean, if Twit didn't have our own chat room situation set up and we wanted to embed a chat here and there, we're a bad example because obviously we have our own system for chat. But a company who wanted to basically have hey, let's have a powwow here and there, and not want to use some of the more archaic chat software to embed a conversation, that might be something that's good for Facebook as well.
Yeah, that could be kind of interesting. And that leads really nicely into our next article, because this is all about commenting on blogs and on sites. And if you think about comments, in many ways, they're broken in the sense that if you look at some of the major news sites out there, you read through the comments, there are lots of trolls, you're writing things that just aren't relevant anymore. I'm not sure comments really work that well. So kind of interesting to see Boing Boing announce that they are getting rid of Discus, their commenting system that they have at Boing Boing, and instead introducing something new. It's an open source system called Discourse. And the idea is that Discourse really is more about having almost like message boards or forums and having conversations that are about articles, but you could start a new conversation about a new topic. So taking the community that exists in the comments and almost just presenting it in a different way. So what do you think, Sarah? Do you think something like this would or will work for them?
Boing Boing has a really active audience. I mean, it's probably one of the first blogs I can think of ever that was, it made its business collecting interesting stories and links from around the net. So in that sense, I feel like Boing Boing has always been kind of a trailblazer. They've got a smart group of people who work there, good writers. They find interesting stuff. They have very interesting opinions, certainly with matters of free speech and privacy. And I think that if Boing Boing wants to go in this direction, it's probably going to be pretty well received by the community, and it's probably something that they felt they needed to do to keep their community happy. A lot of blogs just say, screw it, I don't want comments anymore. Comments are, I don't like the way that they work. It's not helpful. People go off topic or they end up being rude. That's the answer. It's just forget it. And we do see a lot of that with some of the newer solutions for writers, is that you can maybe write something and people can share it around the net, but there's not really an area for discourse, public discourse. So this is interesting. I'm not familiar with Discourse. Or I am now, discourse.org. I'm looking at their website. New discussion platform, conversations, not pages. It sounds like there's a little bit of what Discuss had done in the past, and Livefire is another commenting platform where you can get notifications if you're mentioned. And the open source part of it is probably the key here.
Yeah, it's interesting to Boing Boing has put a link up where you can see what this looks like as far as the different topics taking place using this new system. And it does just look like message boards, basically. And I think this works really well, like you said, for a community that, like Boing Boing, I mean, I think you have a lot of early adopters there who want to try something new, who are really open to it. It's funny when you go to also look at Discourse and in terms of their recommendations, if everybody should start using it. And they have a FAQs on their site that says, should I switch to discourse right now? And they say, probably not. It's brand new. They have a lot of learning to do. And also, it's a big change for different commenting communities. So it almost seems like Boing Boing is a test community to figure out if this may work in the future. But I think everybody would agree that comments in some ways are sort of broken on the internet today.
Yeah, I look forward to anybody, by the way, who uses Discourse already or has more insight about it, please do let us know. The Social Hour at Twit.tv. Or if you can point us to anywhere where it's being implemented, or if you just have an opinion on Boing Boing specifically, we'd love to know. It'd be great to get some feedback on that. All right, Amber, the next link that you added in here is about people who actually don't want to be social at all.
Yes, I was thinking we should change the name of the Social Hour to the Anti-Social Hour.
I'm fine with that. I am sick of people.
Yep. If you're sick of people, you will love this new web app. And this is something that was developed at New York University. And the idea is it's called Hell is Other People. And it's a social experiment of sorts. And if you want to figure out where all your friends are based on things like their Foursquare check-ins, you can figure out where you shouldn't go because you don't want to be near them. And this is kind of fun, you know, taking the whole idea of wanting to get closer to people and saying, hey, heck, I don't want to be close to them. I want to do my own thing.
Now, is this, I love the idea of this. It's like, yes, use the same geolocation information to say, absolutely not that pizza place because too many people that I know are there, whether they're friends that I'm sick of or just people I don't like in general. But isn't this really just the same thing as looking at Foursquare and deciding to avoid where people are checked in?
It just has a better name, Sarah. Hell is Other People.
I love that.
There's a lot of people who will appreciate the name. And I think it is. You know, the map is kind of neat, being able to see where everybody is. And I think they're just appealing to a different audience who's like, I don't want to be around all those people who check in. I want to do my own thing. I want to live maybe a more isolated life and want to get away from some of those people who are checking in all the time.
It's kind of cool, too, where it says, yeah, it utilizes Foursquare so that obviously check-ins are helping you avoid people, but it'll also tell you the best route and areas to avoid them. So it's like, if you're like, wow, gosh, I gotta get across town, but I'm on my bike and everyone's gonna see me because I have to ride that one way, you know, here's a detour so that I can stealthily get back to my house and I don't have to talk to any of those pesky humans.
It would be neat to see it done with Twitter conversations, too, in your own city. If you could find out if some of your friends were at one location or in a certain area, you knew they were tweeting a lot, you could then go to a different area. It was funny, we had a little party for a girlfriend of mine for her bachelorette last night, and there were 10 of us girls together. Everybody kept asking me, you're not tweeting this, are you, Amber? You're not Facebooking this? And they were all worried, and I'm thinking to myself, don't worry, I'm not gonna overshare in this context, but we're in the middle of the woods, and there still is that fear that someone's gonna post something that they shouldn't.
Yeah, I have that. I have that issue all the time with people. In fact, I've now come to the point where there's a little bit of people saying, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I'll say, is this okay? Is this okay? The other night, a friend who's teaching herself how to read tarot cards, I was like, ooh, you know, and I pulled out my phone and I'm like, oh, am I allowed to take pictures of tarot cards? And she's like, why wouldn't you be? And I said, I don't know. I mean, it's like some witchcraft rule I'm breaking here. I don't.
So funny.
Yeah, because I'm just so used to it. Like, take pictures, make sure it's all recorded. What am I doing? Where am I? That sort of thing. So we're all confused at this point. But if you want to avoid your friends, Hell is Other People, the web app, we will have the link in our show notes. So you can play around with it as well. Quick reminder, we do record the Social Hour on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you can join us live, it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to kick off your weekend. And if you ever want to catch up on any of our episodes, if you're looking for a subscription link so you can automatically download the show every week, you just go to twit.tv/TSH. That's where Amber and my archives live on the web. Oh, yeah, last week. That's me and Maru. Oh, that's nice. Good stuff. And you, of course, can email us at thesocialhour@twit.tv. Everything we talk about, all those links are down at the end, at the bottom of each episode page. So we try to keep it as easy for you as possible to find everything that we talked about and share them with the friends of your choice or your cat, if that's how you work. All right, before we get into our social tips and some spotlights, we want to thank SAP, and specifically Social Media Solutions from SAP, for sponsoring this episode of The Social Hour. They help companies use social media to improve their customer service and support processes, which is absolutely, absolutely key when you're in an enterprise and you have to keep track of what people are saying about your company. If it's on their personal blog, if it's on Twitter, if it's on Facebook, if it's on some social network that frankly you're not really that familiar with, you still need to be getting that feedback so that you know how to engage with them. Getting the feedback is the listening component of Social Media Solutions. You get reports on conversations people are having, looks for relevant terms, and is able to get a sense of if somebody's really fired up about something in a good way or a bad way. You want to reward people who are really happy just as much as you want to help the folks that aren't all that happy. It helps you build better products because it incorporates real-time customer feedback into your efforts to make the best product possible. Helps you identify customers who are ready to buy. Those are very important customers. You always want to convert them into buying customers based on signals that they're sending via social media. And SAP uses natural language processing, or NLP, it's kind of like big data at work, to basically know the difference between statements people might be making that sort of seem the same, but are very different. You know, if you say something like, "Isn't this wonderful?" you might be really sarcastic, or you might actually think that it's wonderful. So it's nice to have tools that can kind of differentiate between the two. Then, of course, you got your engaging component. Helps you improve customer service and support because you can set rules about which messages should go to which team member. You might have a small team, you might have a big team, but everybody's got a job. You want to be able to share the work. Activity on the social media stream can lead for you direct customer engagement because it'll drive sales, it'll quickly solve customer problems, you can respond to customer feedback very quickly and make it seem like you're really on the ball and that you care. Well, I'm sure you do care, but you know, it shows that you do. And if somebody posts a negative review, you or one of your coworkers can rapidly remedy that problem and they'll walk away happy. Social Media Solutions from SAP gives you more than marketing because it improves the customer service and support experience. If this sounds good to you, go to sap.com/twit. Look at that. They're ready for us, the Social Hour folks. All of you listening or watching the Social Hour, go to sap.com/twit. You'll feel right at home, and you can take a guided tour to see for yourself how Social Media Solutions from SAP works and can help your business. And thanks to them for sponsoring us. All right, Amber, how are we supposed to save tweets with a particular hashtag? And why
This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So this is just a tiny little tool, and it's called Tweet Binder. It's a web tool. So if you're hosting a Twitter conversation or you're trying to keep track of a particular hashtag, there are a lot of ways that you can do that manually. But what's great about this tool is that it gives you analytics. It also helps you figure out how many tweets were sent out with that hashtag, the users who sent them out as well. So just a simple little taste of a tool that will help you manage hashtags if you are trying to monitor what's happening with them on Twitter.
That's great. This is a wonderful little tool.
It's tiny and it's easy.
Save tweets with a particular hashtag to your tweet binder. I love that because there might be something, you might be doing research, or you were at a great conference. Amber, you're at conferences all the time where it's like, for whatever reason, it's really great to have that collection of conversations or great links that people were sharing that all have that one thing in common to go back to later. Because as we know on Twitter, doing anything that's back in time becomes problematic really quickly because everything comes in so fast.
Yeah, and you can break down how many retweets there were, how many replies there were, and those type of things. So if you are doing some type of conversation on a weekly basis or a monthly basis in the Twitter world, then you can figure out what you need to improve on, maybe to generate more conversation across Twitter.
Very cool. All right.
It's a fun one.
That's awesome. Yeah, Tweet Binder. That will come in handy. Another site, this is sort of our spotlight for the week that I want to come in handy for me, is called Potluck. This is actually, Potluck is a web app and an app that was built by the same team behind the service Branch, which is sort of a conversation a service, which is under the umbrella of Obvious Corporation, which is the same people who are Twitter alums who made the writing platform Medium. So there are a lot of overlaps here in talented people and companies that Amber and I have covered on the Social Hour in the past. Potluck is designed, I'll show you my profile here right now, is designed to help us share cool stuff that we find online. Now you might be saying, that sounds like every other service in the whole world, but it is designed to be a little bit more, less about how many people might follow me and how many thumbs up did I get or how many retweets did I get or little hearts, and more about just being able to share the stuff that you like and not worry too much about it being a popularity contest. So for example, and I just signed up to Potluck, so I don't have a huge friend base right now. A few other people have accepted my friend request. That's good. Oh, good. Nick Bilton accepted my friend request. Very nice. So this is my little notifications page. This is my profile area. Now I've seen that my friend Ryan Freitas and another friend that I don't know have both shared this particular video. Kevin Slavin's 5-minute Ignite talk about the popularity of cat videos. Awesome. I'm pretty sure I'm already gonna like it already, so that worked out well. But if I go to my friend activity tab, which is in the upper left-hand corner, and I just wanna quickly get an idea of what's being shared, on the left-hand side, I don't actually see who's shared what. And that's on purpose because it's designed for me to be like, do I care that Alec Baldwin had a meltdown and quit Twitter? 3 of my friends shared this link or liked it, but I don't, you know, it's like I'm not rating which friend did. So it's a little bit more of like, this is just a popular thing. Would I like to know more about it? Let's say I say, sure. At that point, then I see who shared it. Now it's a few of my friends and then a few other people that aren't my friends yet. Actually, a couple of people I know. And so you go, okay, well, this is interesting. All right, there's more to it than that. So in a way, Amber, I think Potluck really has its work cut out for it because obviously the users have to flock to any service, even if it's good, for it to be successful. And it doesn't seem like it's, there's a huge amount of engagement, at least in the same friend group that I have on Twitter and Facebook. But I really like the concept. What do you think?
It's fun. I like the design too. You know, it's very, very nice, clean design. It reminds me a little bit of Path. I know it doesn't look exactly like that, but it has some of the same elements. I think it's interesting. I just have to wonder though, how do some of these services really survive? I mean, if you look at even Vine and Instagram video and look at how quickly, you know, Vine launched and then all of a sudden Instagram has video and how quickly masses of people go and adopt a new tool, I just feel like some of these tools, it's difficult to build a really large community. And so I wouldn't necessarily want to play in this space. I'm kind of glad we're just covering it.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Potluck a try. There are already things that are being shared here that I feel like I haven't seen, and today was kind of a busy day, so maybe I would see them on Twitter eventually, or Tumblr, or Pinterest, or a variety of other places. But I think this is, if for whatever reason you feel like it's trying to achieve a goal that you're not happy with already, give it a try. I believe at this point you need to be invited to Potluck, and if that's the case, hopefully you'll be invited soon. But it may be open for everybody now. I think somebody invited me. It was a couple days ago, but it's new. Potluck.it, by the way, is the website. So not potluck.com, but potluck.it, and let us know if there are particular users that you like on Potluck, if there's a use case for it that we haven't mentioned that you think is great, whatever, do let us know as well. So that's our spotlight of the week. And Amber, I just wanted to mention really quickly before we move on that Google Plus is 2 years old today.
I know. I cannot believe this.
2 years young. Yeah. Of course, in true Google Plus fashion, because they do this every week anyway, they've redesigned some follow buttons, some badges. They've got badges for communities, little things. This is not any sort of an overhaul. It's just designed to make things look a little bit better. But Google Plus is 2 years old. In a way, Amber, that seems almost like a long time because I remember when it was brand new. But I guess that's not that long in social networking years. But how long until I mean, is it 4 years? Is it 5 years before we can officially say that Google Plus has arrived, or still needs to change? I mean, it's not a new network on the block anymore.
No, it's not. You know, out of all these little tweaks and changes, I think it's interesting with the page and profile badges, how you can use them in portrait or landscape mode. That's kind of interesting. It's about halfway down the page on TechCrunch. But I just find it hard to believe that they're 2 years old. And I'd like to say I'm finding more and more people who are using Google Plus, but I feel like, at least with my community, it's a lot of the same people. They're posting more. But again, I go back to just the quality of content. And I know we had this conversation last week. I always find interesting things there, and I always get really great feedback on Google Plus that I don't get anywhere else. So I'm still hopeful that they'll be a major player in the future. And I mean, hey, if you care about search results, and most people do, you see in search results on Google how important it is that you filled out your Google Plus profile and engage, because that stuff is just becoming more present than ever within Google search results overall.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Google Plus, and thank you also for providing us with a lot of great tools, many of which I don't use, but I still appreciate them. I think that you're a wonderful social network. In fact, Amber, it's so funny that you mention Google Plus profiles, because today I sort of got lost down a rabbit hole of the internet, and I ended up on somebody's Google Plus profile page, and it was strangely blank of any information. And I remember thinking, it just would have been so much more, it's so easy to do, so much more informational had she added in a few things about, you know, what she did and where else to find her online.
Yes. Good idea to fill that out.
Yeah, fill that out. It's not going to hurt you. It'll only help, unless you want to be anonymous, and then maybe you don't want to share anything online. That's fine too. We got an email from Matson. Matson, I hope that's how you say your name. And he was pointing us to what he basically calls a great example of a social media blunder on the part of a large corporation. This is an interesting story, though, Amber, because it's not just sort of like, ooh, bad campaign, we're sorry, we realize that that was insensitive. There is a travel blogger who's named Turner Barr, who has been at this a couple of years and has the brand and the website Around the World in 80 Jobs. Sounds pretty cool, right? His whole thing is, I want to see the world, I want to experience a variety of sort of odd jobs, sometimes not cool jobs. You know, I think one of them was like being a toilet attendant in some club and in you know, Scandinavia at one point. Yeah, and there was you know, volunteering and helping elephants in Thailand, and so it's kind of a really interesting thing. I love people like this, because he's going out there and doing it. He discovered, I'm not exactly sure how, that there was a campaign that took the exact same name and, according to him, used an actor in this sort of marketing material that looked a lot like him. And the company is called Adecco, which is, it sort of seems like a job outreach company. I'm not familiar with this company. I think it sort of helps people get placed in jobs and provide some training and that sort of thing. So it doesn't sound like a bad company as far as a concept goes. But he really took to the internet to say, this is absolutely not cool, because they're taking my idea. I mean, I've got this website, I'm that guy, this is my thing, and they've decided to make it their thing. Now, what's interesting about this, Amber, is that he got quite a few people to rally behind him, including Matson, who wrote us just to kind of raise awareness about this. But Adecco has a Facebook page, and on that Facebook page, there was quite a bit of hate for the company from people who were siding with him, saying there's no way that this was coincidental, which the company claimed happened. You saw what he was doing online, and you were just trying not to get caught. Now, if you go back in time on their Facebook page, and they've got 107,000 likes, so this is a fairly well-known company. If you go back, you sort of see back in the day that they were acknowledging that they knew that there were some people upset, and they knew who this guy was, and he had contacted them, and there's quite a bit of back and forth. It does say, as of Wednesday, so just a couple days ago, that they've spoken to Turner. They had come to an agreement about how to make it right. A lot of times that means money, but they don't specify. I don't know if we'll find that out or not. They say that we're sorry. They also say, we've learned a lot in the past few weeks. We'll work to make this right. And that we're a company of great people who sometimes make mistakes, learn from them, and do better next time. So to me, I don't know. Again, this is not me that was going through the situation, Amber, but it seems like all is well that ends well, especially because the company is profusely apologizing at the end here. What do you think?
Well, I think, not knowing very much about the story except for the email and just doing a little bit of research, I totally agree with you. I mean, I like the way the company has responded, and they seem to want to make it very clear that they are working to make sure the situation ends up with a happy story at the end of it. So I think that's good news. But I think stuff like this probably happens all the time, Sarah, and more and more I think it's going to happen to a lot of people. And unfortunately, there's not too much you can do about it, but it seems like this hopefully will have a good ending.
Yeah, it's always nice to see stories like this. And this is also something I think that it's not always, corporations ripping off people, but this sort of thing is an issue online, especially when you have a big web presence. If you spend a lot of time trying to engage with your community via a variety of social networks, and particularly people who are making their living by, being out there and posting videos and that sort of thing, sometimes things like this come up. I mean, sometimes you get, a photograph where you're like, wait, that's my photograph. This is not a unique situation. And it's kind of how both parties navigate and try to come to a solution. I mean, sometimes it is a blatant ripoff that somebody meant to do, and, they were hoping not to get caught, and that's one thing. It sounds like, just giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, maybe this was just a weird coincidence. And in that case, hopefully everybody's happy about the agreements that they came to.
And I think it just is a lesson for everybody that, at least in the social media space, you have to tread so carefully because you just don't know. And I think so often in companies, what ends up happening is they have someone in charge of social media, and they act like an island in many ways because no one can figure out exactly what to do in this space. And so it's one of those things where open communication and dialogue is so critical, because you can upset an online community pretty quickly, and you can't go out like you can in other industries and just kind of copy people without someone getting upset or hurt and vocalizing that. So at least they're trying to be as transparent as possible at this stage. And I think that's a great way to be in this particular situation.
Curtis in chat says, I don't like that they apparently lied first. The indication is that had there not been backlash, they wouldn't have been sorry. That happens all the time too. And I guess those are the situations where we say, well, thank goodness that we have these online tools in order to spread the word. And if a company is being shady, force that company to address the problem and come up with a solution.
Exactly.
Should they not want to lose business.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's take a moment to thank Squarespace. Speaking of blogs, Turner might be like, all right, I'm happy with my situation. I'm ready to revamp my website around the world in 80 days. Squarespace would be the place to get an amazing looking website, a professional looking website or blog or portfolio of work or even an online store. Squarespace has rolled out quite a few new product features, even since last fall, really, when it had a huge platform upgrade. New templates, all sorts of good stuff. When you want to get the most from Squarespace's recent innovations, look no farther than not just their templates, but their 24/7 support team, because they've got a team of people there that are ready and waiting to help you achieve the goals that you're looking to put together with Squarespace. Live chat during the week, good email support during the day and night. So if you're ready to take the plunge and put together a new website, you don't really have to worry that you're out there on your own, because Squarespace is really, really great with the support. Plus, plans start as low as $8 a month. For software and hosting, that's a really important thing to consider, because you can put together something that's beautiful. But if you're, for whatever reason, you hope a lot of people are going to be drawn to your site, you don't ever want that site to go down or anything. You want to be able to say, my site is rock solid. It's always going to be up there anytime anybody goes, day or night. So that's software and hosting. It's a really good value. Squarespace is very well designed. if you just take a moment to look through some of the templates, you'll see that not only do they look great on the web, but they look great on mobile. And that's something that Squarespace takes really seriously, because they know not only would people like Amber and me be updating on the fly. We're not always in front of our desktop computer. Maybe we want to be managing comments via our iPad apps, or with our smartphones, but that people will be accessing our content from a variety of places as well. So if my site looks great on the web, it better look great on an Android phone as well. And Squarespace puts a lot of effort into that. It's fast, it's easy to use. Certainly in just a few clicks, you can use their style editor tool. It allows you a selection of fonts and colors and layouts. You can customize templates. You can customize templates a lot and make something that doesn't look like anything else you see online, but you don't really have to. You can use a template, make a few changes, put your name and upload a photo here and there, and you're off and running. It doesn't take much to feel like you've really got a professional website out there. Plus, Squarespace connects to all your social media accounts. Can't talk about Squarespace on this show without talking about social media accounts, because you might be very, very active on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and LinkedIn and Google+, and you want your site to reflect that. So your Squarespace site is kind of an indication of all the places that you're active as well. Squarespace integrates all your website needs into one cool platform: domains, design, development, commerce, hosting, and of course that 24/7 customer support. You should sign up for a free account. In fact, if you want to just give Squarespace a whirl, sign up for a free trial at squarespace.com. They don't want your money. They just want you to try it out, start building that website. And if you decide to purchase a plan, use the offer code SOCIALHOUR6. So that's social hour and then the number 6, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase on new accounts. That's for a monthly or an annual plan. So you've got some choices there. That's squarespace.com, and use the offer code SOCIALHOUR6. 6. But that's backwards. Yeah. All right, Amber. We've got some feedback here. Do you want to take this one on our conversation about Google Mine?
Yeah, we talked about Google Mine last week, a service that would let you kind of categorize things that you had. Sarah and I were a little bit lukewarm, I think, on this whole tool. However, Jason says something different. He says, Google Mine is perfect for collectors, and before now, there hasn't been a service to keep track of your collections. It can be extremely difficult to keep track of everything you have, especially keeping track of what you don't have. Comic books, for example, are huge for collectors, but there are so many variant versions, reprints, and sheer volume of comics. It can be hard to manage. I personally can't see myself listing things like what type of couch I have, but I do have over 500 movies. I keep a spreadsheet so I don't lose anything. I have to sign up. I have to have a sign-up sheet for people to sign up when they borrow a movie, because I have trouble remembering what is checked out. Google Mine would make it a lot easier. So a very great example, because I think we were kind of struggling to figure out how you would use Google Mine and if anyone would use it. But turns out we were a little bit wrong, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear this, Jason, because I think Google Mine, it does sound perfect. Again, not really having used the product, just hearing about this new feature. But something like a comic book, where it's a very intricate collection business if you want to take it seriously. And if something has a variety of organization tools, it's just not something that exists otherwise unless you build it yourself. And yeah, movies too. And I mean, Amber, can you think of anything that you have a lot of that it would help you to have in some sort of like a Google-made database? I'm trying to think of anything I have a lot of.
I feel like I'm pretty boring, Sarah. I'm thinking I don't really collect anything. I don't know if there's anything. I don't have any interests that aren't really technical or digital. So I don't know. Probably not the right person for Google Mine in this particular case.
Yeah, or maybe if you were starting to get into photography and you had a variety of lenses, and that was something that, again, like maybe you'd be interested in swapping with other people. So it would be really helpful to know what you've got right now, what you've got, that could be available to, lend out or buy from other people. I can see this, again, some specific cases where something like Google Mine does seem like a good idea. So thanks to Jason for reminding us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, that we've got some options. Got another email from Melissa. Melissa says, Dear Amber and Sarah, after a long day at work, I assume she means sometime last week when she was watching last week's show. After a long day at work, I was just going to watch the social hour and then go to bed. But then I got sucked into looking at Lil Bub's Tumblr for 2.5 hours. Cat memes for the win. Little Bub, of course, had a birthday last Friday, and I made a big deal out of it. She says, also, coffee is a thing. And then she says, just wanted to say thanks. It's nice to see ladies in tech. Now, I was like, coffee is a thing. What does she mean? I went, oh, coffee memes. That's what Melissa means, right? Oh. And I actually, I did a very simple search just for coffee memes, and I actually found something that's a little bit of both, Amber, which is, I found this on Pinterest, which is a Grumpy Cat coffee meme mashup, where Grumpy Cat says, don't talk to me until I have my morning coffee. Wait, I already did?
Hilarious.
Just don't talk to me.
Hilarious.
That's how I feel every day.
Every day.
And then I talk for a living, so that was dumb.
Oh, it's all about the cat. See, Sarah, every show now we have cat things for you.
Gotta love it. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. And hopefully you enjoyed your time on Lil Bub's Tumblr page. I too have lost many hours there. It can happen to the best of us. To the best of us.
Can.
We got another email from Leah, and this is Amber. Have you looked at this page?
No, I haven't. I'm going to open it up right now because when I'm reading the email, it seems really disturbing, but I'm hoping it isn't.
It isn't as disturbing as you think. It's a little bit more sort of humor satire. Leah,
thank goodness.
Yeah, Leah writes, a friend of mine just shared this Pinterest page we're looking at called Well-Dressed Imaginary Toddler. She says, it feels like something you'd normally see on something like Tumblr. It's basically a collection of photos of child models with funny captions underneath, with the author describing the adventures of her imaginary daughter, Quinoa. Now, quinoa, of course, is a kind of grain, so that's sort of a funny name for a child. Now, it says Leah, I'm not a Pinterest user, and I could be wrong, but it seems like it's moving away from that usual stuff for my wedding, home decoration ideas, delicious recipes type Pinterest boards, towards more fun, engaging community stuff like this. And she says, I think I'd actually be more likely to use Pinterest if this is what's to come.
This is hilarious.
It's really quite funny. Now, it's a specific type of, I guess, hipstery kid humor that's not going to appeal to all of us. But I spent some time on it earlier, Amber, and I thought, well, this is pretty clever. And it sure is getting a lot of attention. I mean, there are a lot of comments on every single photo from people who, you know, are sort of like bringing in their own amusing anecdotes because there's, you know, some truth to funny kid names and all of this stuff. I haven't seen anything like this before.
It is so funny. I haven't really either, and I agree. This is something you would more likely see on Tumblr, and but just being able to view it this way on Pinterest, it's so easy to kind of digest all the different pictures, and it's too funny. I mean, people have to check this out. I love this. When Quinoa and I have breakfast at Tiffany's, we do it with exactness. P.S. Guess what they serve for breakfast at Tiffany's? Elitism, and it goes on and on. Oh my goodness, this is so funny.
I know. I love it, Leah. And I'm with Leah. I think Pinterest is not, it's definitely not out there it probably was never created with something like this in mind, but it ends up being a kind of cool platform just because it's so visually nice that if you were going to put something together that would do well on Tumblr. And Leah's right. I mean, this is the sort of thing, this is exactly the sort of thing that ends up getting a book deal. And we've seen a lot of Tumblr blogs like that.
So where are the pictures coming from? So these are all real child models, right?
I guess so. It's catalogs of some kind, I suppose.
I'm guessing. Like she's not scraping it. Like it's not creepy like she's scraping it from, you know, Facebook or anything weird.
I certainly hope not. Yeah, they all look like
they look pretty pro, right?
Yeah, like advertisements. But hopefully whoever's putting this together it's all very legit.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I gotta bookmark that, Sarah.
Yeah, bookmark it.
That is a good one.
Good.
I think you're right, though. I think we'll see more of that. I mean, I think when Pinterest is used in different ways and people get so creative with it, it's one of those things that I feel like, oh my gosh, this is one of those places that is obviously going to be here to stay because people just come up with so many uses. And I have not seen anything like this, but that's a good. Now it makes me want to do something like this, Sarah. What creative things can we do?
These are the sorts of things where it's part like great idea, but it's all in the execution. It's like, it's comedy. And so I go, why did I think of that? I could do that, but I didn't.
Where's our $1 million idea, Sarah?
Oh, I'm looking. Amber, it's out there.
Gotta get on this.
I know we've got a lot of life to live, and private jets are only going to help us live it. So we got to get the money first. From
one day, Sarah, one day we're going to be, you and me, we're going to be doing something awesome, building something cool.
You know it.
Coming up with great ideas.
One day we're going to come up with a good idea. I don't know when. We won't hold our breath, but one day. Reminder, we love your ideas as well. In fact, you help us make a great show every week. So, want to remind you, you can get a hold of us by emailing us at the social hour at twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 2626-SOCIAL. That's 2626-SOCIAL. You can record a video, upload it, send us a link. You can send us a tweet. You can make sure that we see something funny, like Leah found us on Pinterest via Facebook or Google+. There's a million ways to get a hold of Amber and I because we pretty much live our lives online. So thanks to everybody who watches the show, listens to the show, and enjoys the show. Before we get to Amber's Rad or Fad, speaking of listening, we might as well take a moment to thank Audible for sponsoring this episode of The Social Hour. Audible.com is the best place to find audiobooks because they have over 100,000 titles. Many, many, many books to be found and listened to at Audible. It's great. What you do is, you choose a book. If you're into fiction or nonfiction, or maybe it's like you're about to take a road trip, or you're going to be on a plane for a while, and it's like you know you're going to have a certain amount of time, and you really need something to listen to. You go ahead and choose a book. All sorts of genres are represented. They've got everything from like romance to autobiographies and fiction versus nonfiction, and it's neat. Once you go ahead and download the book, you listen to it, and even before you even get started, it'll let you know how long the book is. So, something like Ready Player One is 15 hours and 46 minutes. Wow, so you could get all the way to Europe and just have a couple hours to spare, and you would have been entertained the whole time. It's neat too, especially for those of us who like to do more than one thing at a time. When you're reading, you're reading. When you're listening to a book on Audible, you may be commuting, you may be cleaning up your house, you might be exercising, all sorts of things that you can do at the same time. And it's really nice. It's really nice to be read to because you're reading a book, but it's all audio. So if you're interested in trying this out, maybe Ready Player One sounds like something that's perfect for you. Give it a try. You can download that audiobook or another one of your choice for free just by going to audiblepodcast.com/social hour. That's audiblepodcast.com/social hour while you try out their service. You just go ahead, download the audiobook of your choice, give it a go, and at the end of trying Audible out, if you'd like to sign up for a plan, wonderful. We think you'll really like it. But either way, you still get to keep that book. That book that you downloaded is yours to keep forever. It's Audible's gift to you. And as you use Audible over time, you might amass a really cool audio book library. You can go back, years later, and you don't have to buy that book again. They're downloaded for you. audiblepodcast.com/social hour. And thanks to them for sponsoring our show. All right, Amber, before we let you go on your crazy wedding weekend, we can't finish a social hour without a Rad or Fad.
Yes. Okay. So this one got a lot of attention. I believe it was yesterday. A lot of the technology blogs posting about it. This is a little device called Poppy, and basically it will allow you to turn your iPhone into a 3D camera. This is a Kickstarter campaign, and it's very interesting. It reminds me of those old school viewfinders, Sarah. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like that, and you can basically capture 3D photos and video clips, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of people seem to like this. Now, I think the neat thing about this is, as far as I understand, the price is pretty good on it, as little as $30 if you're going to back this, so not terribly expensive. What do you think, Sarah? Would you ever use something like this?
I mean, we're looking at the Kickstarter video, and of course, it's showing people looking through the viewfinder and going, "Whoa, that's so awesome! That's so neat." Brian, if you scroll up, how far along are they in their campaign? Have they?
They're doing really well.
Yeah, they're doing good.
They're beyond, yeah.
Oh, I see. This is the Mashable link rather than the Kickstarter link. But yeah, so all right, so this is something that's going to become a reality. I don't hate the idea. I don't at all. I think that sort of thing is very cool. I think 3D images maybe are a little cooler than 3D video. I don't even know why I feel that way. Maybe because it seems more sort of like a little piece of art rather than something, you know, I need to like wear glasses in order to see. I'm just not convinced that 3D anything is really, it's not that it's not here to stay, because the technology certainly has existed for a while and it is here to stay, but I just don't know how much of this anyone's interested in utilizing on a regular basis. I mean, we've got 3D televisions. Those haven't really taken off the way that the content and TV manufacturers have hoped. So I don't know. I think this seems like, I think it seems rad, but it's sort of a novelty as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You know, it's funny because I feel like 3D is this really sexy term that we want to be like, oh, isn't that cool? We can see 3D. But I'm totally with you. I have no interest in seeing anything in 3D. I really don't care. But what I think is kind of interesting, Sarah, and where I think this could come into use is with families with children. I think kids would like this, just like I liked the viewfinder when I was a little kid. This is definitely a retro kind of toy. And they mentioned that on the Kickstarter campaign. And just because of the price point, I think it would be cool to have this in the home. Families would love it. Kids would love creating this content. But for adults, I don't see it as something you're going to really take with you somewhere. But a fun toy for the home, perhaps. And then it's rad.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with rad as well. It is a fun toy for the home. You know, maybe it's not something that we're all going to be carrying around with us in our backpacks, but it's a party pleaser.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, they've well outgoaled themselves. 40,000 they wanted to raise. They've raised
twice as much as they had before. Amazing, right?
Almost $88,000 with 27 days to go. Then again, Kickstarter projects, Amber, we hear all the time too that they get funded, everybody's happy,
I know.
and then you have these delays, sometimes indefinitely. So it's not necessarily a thing yet. It's a great idea. I think it's a rad idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah, it's a cool idea. It's you know, Sarah, it's not going to be as good as our idea, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, what is? It's a nice try, Poppy people. Yeah.
Keep working on it.
Yeah, good effort. Good start.
Just wait.
Yeah. Well, we have actually we're right. I think we're in under the hour, or darn near it anyway. That is it for this episode of The Social Hour. We tried to keep it to an hour. I mean, that's the name of the show, after all. Reminder, we're live on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's Amber's time zone, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's mine. You might be in another one, but we appreciate everybody who comes and watches us on Friday afternoon/evening and chats with us, and everybody who watches us over the weekend. Hello to you, or maybe the following week at your leisure. It's nice to have all of you. Reminder that our website is twit.tv/TSH. You can find our show you know, in your favorite podcast app or in iTunes. We're all over the place. Until next week, and we will be here next week, I'm Sarah Lane.
And I'm Amber MacArthur, and we'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
All right, guys.